Hello Bama fans! Until recently, Finebaum didn't believe Bama had a chance at the CFP. Now things have changed? Have you seen it? Let's get to the news, but first subscribe to the channel to continue receiving more Bama news. The college football playoff scene is in full swing, and Alabama finds itself once again in the spotlight, as would be expected from a program accustomed to excellence. While Paul Finebaum shared his doubts and speculations about the fate of the Crimson Tide, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, the debate goes beyond chart analysis and data. It's a question of history, recent performance, and the ability to compete on college football's biggest stage. Looking at Alabama under Kalen DeBoer, there's something intangible that sets the Tide apart. Yes, their 9-3 SEC record puts them on par with their direct competitors. But what Finebaum highlighted, and what bears emphasizing, is Alabama's potential to overcome high-level opponents, including teams like Georgia. This isn't just speculation, it's a fact backed by years of consistency and the Tide's ability to step up in the most crucial moments. Ole Miss certainly has a track record that demands respect. The win over the Bulldogs, albeit by a larger margin than Alabama's, is a strong point in the Rebels' favor. However, it takes more than a one-off performance to make a compelling case. It's not just about what a team can do on a good day, but how it performs when the pressure is on. And in that, Alabama has tradition and experience on its side. South Carolina, on the other hand, has a curious narrative. After a questionable start to the season, the Gamecocks found consistency, ending the regular season with an impressive 6-game winning streak. But as Finebaum pointed out, their record against Alabama and Ole Miss weighs against them. Significant losses to those two direct opponents makes South Carolina's case weaker when compared to the other two. What makes analyzing the college football playoffs so fascinating and frustrating for many is that it's not just about numbers. It's about intuition, about assessing who is prepared to shine when the spotlight is brightest. The committee needs to consider not just who won, but how and against whom those wins were achieved. Alabama, even with 3 losses, has shown itself to be a team capable of playing at a high level against the best. It's the ability to beat good teams, as Finebaum put it, that can and should tip the scales. Yes, the Tide may have faltered at crucial moments, but when pitted against elite opponents, few programs are as reliable as Alabama. What about recruiting? Alabama continues to cement its position as one of the most desirable destinations for top college football talent. During the last Iron Bowl, Xavier Crowell, a standout running back from Jackson High School and considered the #1 prospect in the 2027 class, returned to Tuscaloosa, showing that the Crimson Tide is at the top of the priority list for this young talent. With Kalen DeBoer, Alabama has been a force not only on the field, but also in recruiting, especially with players who could be pillars for the future. Crowell is not your average prospect. His numbers speak for themselves. In his freshman campaign, he accumulated 1,737 rushing yards and 25 touchdowns on just 166 carries, in addition to adding 5 touchdowns on receptions. These feats have already put him on the radar of the biggest programs in the country, but it is his consistent performance that sets him apart. Last week, he recorded 195 yards and 4 touchdowns on just 11 carries, a feat that underscores his explosiveness and versatility. For Alabama, bringing Crowell to campus multiple times is not just a show of interest, but a strategic move. Since DeBoer took over, the focus on recruiting exceptional players has been evident. Crowell, with his ability to change the pace of a game on a single play, fits perfectly into DeBoer's vision for the program, a dynamic, unpredictable offense that can dominate both on the ground and through the air. The relationship that is building between Alabama and Crowell is a testament to the program's tireless effort to ensure that homegrown talent doesn't escape to other states. Jackson High School, located in the heart of Alabama, is a breeding ground for talent, and Crowell may be the epitome of how the Crimson Tide values and nurtures its own. His presence in the Iron Bowl, one of the most iconic and intense games on the college football calendar, only reinforced the connection between the player and the program. For Crowell, choosing Alabama means much more than just playing for an elite program. It's an opportunity to join a lineage of legendary running backs who have made their mark on the sport. With the support of a highly skilled coaching staff and state-of-the-art facilities, he has all the resources he needs to not only meet expectations, but exceed them. DeBoer's recruiting efforts are already beginning to pay off, and the attention he's given to Crowell is just one more example of how forward-thinking the Crimson Tide is. While other programs will surely continue to dream of the young prodigy, Crowell's proximity to Tuscaloosa and repeated visits to campus show that Alabama is in the lead. If Crowell chooses to don the red and white of Alabama, he will not only strengthen the Tide's offense, but also cement DeBoer's status as one of the best recruiters in the country. For Crimson Tide fans, the anticipation could not be higher, as Xavier Crowell could be the next big star to carry the weight of Bama's tradition and glory. Let's get to it. The Alabama Crimson Tide finished the regular season 9-3, but the question on many is there still a chance for the Tide in the college football playoff? After a strong performance in the Iron Bowl, beating Auburn and ending the season on a positive note, it appears that the door to the CFP is not completely closed, a scenario that, not long ago, seemed unlikely after the upset loss to Oklahoma. The most crucial factor now is Miami's loss to Syracuse. That stumble was devastating for the Hurricanes, who not only lost their chance at the ACC title, but may have seen their playoff spot slip away. Miami was ranked higher than Alabama in the AP poll, but with this drop, the Tide has a real opportunity to overtake them, especially if the CFP committee views Alabama's performance more favorably. The key for Alabama now is to ensure that the selection committee ranks them ahead of Miami, Ole Miss, and South Carolina in the rankings. That would put the Tide in a comfortable position, as they would still have to face a high-caliber team in the quarterfinals, such as Notre Dame or the loser of the Big Ten title game, but with Alabama's history in big games, that would be a task they would be more than ready to take on. Alabama still needs a little help to take the next step, though. For the Tide to have a real shot at making the CFP, it will need SMU to beat Clemson in the ACC title game. If the Mustangs, who are the favorites, pull off the win, Clemson would suffer its fourth loss, which would likely eliminate it from the race. A Clemson loss could open up a spot for Alabama, especially if the Tide is ranked ahead of other contenders such as Ole Miss and South Carolina. Of course, the situation is complex. While Georgia, Texas, Ohio State and Penn State are already considered locks for the CFP, there are still other variables that could affect the committee's decisions. But if there's one thing Alabama knows how to do, it's stay competitive in the crunch. For Crimson Tide fans, next weekend will be a pivotal one, and the team to root for is no longer in Tuscaloosa, but in Dallas, where SMU could play a key role in the Tide's hopes of making it back to the national playoff spotlight. If all goes as expected and Alabama pulls ahead of its direct competitors, a shot at the college football playoff will be within reach. A win in the Iron Bowl could be just the beginning for the Tide, who, as always, have the ability to surprise when the stakes are highest. The road to the playoff is still wide open, and Alabama will certainly be ready to take it on, no matter the challenge. Let's keep going. A little more recruiting. Alabama continues to build its recruiting strength, and its latest addition to the 2027 class is a clear reflection of the impact Kalen DeBoer's leadership is having on the program. On Tuesday, wide receiver and defensive back Alexander Ward of Marietta, Georgia, announced his commitment to the Crimson Tide, surprising some by choosing Alabama over options like Auburn, Georgia, and South Carolina. While Ward does not yet have a 247 sports composite star rating, the decision to commit to Alabama shows that the program is moving beyond just recruiting the most popular names. For Ward, the choice was influenced by more than just the individual talent on the team. He spoke about the welcoming atmosphere he found in Tuscaloosa and the way the coaches treated him, emphasizing the culture of brotherhood that the Tide fosters. For such a young prospect, having the connection to the team and the program's philosophy is a big deal, and it could be a reflection of Alabama's growing reputation as a place where players thrive both on and off the field. Ward is a versatile athlete who has the potential to shine at multiple positions. He has expressed a desire to play both offense and defense, something Alabama seems willing to explore given its need for versatile talent who can impact the game in multiple ways. This only reinforces how attractive the Crimson Tide has become to players who want more than just a regular role. Ward's commitment joins other big names like edge defender Jabarius Gare and Barack Willis, who are already part of the 2027 class and are rated as 4-star recruits. Choosing Bama over traditional programs like Auburn and Georgia also carries significant weight, given the historic rivalry and strong recruiting that these schools have done in recent years. Ward's decision not only shows the appeal of one of college football's most successful programs, but also an indication of how Kalen DeBoer's strategic approach to recruiting is starting to make a difference, especially in Georgia, a state traditionally dominated by rival programs. Ward is a key player in Alabama's future. With talent like him in the pipeline, the Crimson Tide is building a solid foundation to continue its quest for titles, not only in the coming seasons, but for years to come. And as DeBoer has shown, Alabama is becoming not only a choice for today's top athletes, but also for those who see the program as the ideal place to develop their college football potential. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.